Hey, what's up guys? UrAvgWarGamer is back with another video full of warships. And in this video, I'm gonna be featuring the Tier 10 steel aircraft carrier, that is the IGN Shinano. I don't know guys, I kind of felt so much like insanity while playing Shinano that it's not even funny. I have managed to rack up 3k base XP game for you guys and gonna be giving you some tips and tactics that why this carrier is good against, or I would say under these situations. So if you do find this video very helpful, because again there are some players out there who might say that why you are showcasing showcasing us these CV replays, we just don't like it, and I kind of get it. But again, in order to counter the CV, you also need to know what CV is about, and hence the reason why I always make these carrier videos out there, to just give you some information that why this carrier is very special and strong for its reasons. And one of the strengths, as you can clearly see, that what I have done to that Libertad. Well, if you don't angle against these AP skip bombers, which is I would say the most broken AP bombing capabilities that Wargaming can ever give onto the ship, it just makes it extremely powerful. You have seen that you can literally do 3 citadels, like more than I would say 20k damage on a single drop, can show the strong capabilities that Shinano has. And it is kind of a busted strength. It is only be able to simply mitigate it by simply angling. But somehow players don't angle for what? I don't understand it. If I would be in a Libertad, I would have simply turned in and can just mitigate almost every bit of the damage that the carrier is trying to make on you. But again, don't understand this. But in this case, I will also going to be featuring how to utilize these HE dive bombers that are tactical dive bombers, in fact, to utilize very good against these very strongest anti-air, especially defensive anti-air cruisers. Especially I'm talking about the Gudeliu, because you will figure it out that what I have done with the tactical bombs is I baited out the Novosibirsk. I would say, Novosibirsk has used its defensive air fire with my AP skip bombers earlier, but now somehow, because the Gudeliu does not understand how the tactical dive bombers work, those are consumable based charges, right? You just don't need to fear of getting deplaned, because if you use the tactical squadrons, it doesn't matter. It will just load up in more than a minute. But even then, I am dropping on Novosibirsk. The Gudeliu still thought of just using its defensive air fire, which is gonna hurt him very bad, because as you can see here, he is in a very bad position. If he turns in, he will have to turn out again, which means he will show potential broadside to battleships, and even though he's trying to turn out, he does not have defensive air fire to protect himself right now, because he already used it before. Again, biggest mistake that the surface ship guys do is just using defensive air fire, even though they really don't have to. He should have used the defensive air fire now to at least limit the strike. But as you can see here, what I have done again pretty consistent damage. I think I just chunked half of his HP by simply using AP skip bombers with the couple of drops that I have done to that Gudeliu. So you can see here that you can just bait the enemy surface ships defensive air fire with the help of tactical HE dive bombers. Again, this is one of the super unicum tactic that no one will tell you, but here it is. Now you get the point. If you want to bait out Gudeliu's defensive air fire, which I will do it again and again till he dies, unfortunately, you will find out that how good the Shinano really is. Shinano again also have very interesting capabilities. As you can see here, Gudeliu tried to show up its AA defense here, trying to shooting down my torpedo bombers, but torpedo bombers, I would say, some of the most disgusting, even though I would say low damaging compared to Hakuryu, but so consistent at bombing targets that it's not even funny. That Libertad, I find him completely off guard out there. He just disengaged from the other flank and he decided to show up here, and I just cashed him pretty badly there. In fact, I not only wrecked his engine, I also managed to get a permanent flood. So now Libertad has nowhere to go, only going to get flooded because he already used his very fast cooldown, 60 seconds of heal, even then that's not gonna be enough. And I kill the Libertad. Again, something that you just find out the opportunity and utilize it to your strength. Again, something that it is kind of really powerful, and hence the reason why you should try not to think that you are safe in an isolated situation. But again, look at the good enemy what he is doing. He's again trying to use that same defensive fire onto the tactical HE dive bombers, and these dive bombers are just gonna give you some free damage without any loss whatsoever. And I still managed to chunk him with 11k drop, right? Because I mean these are HE bombs, right? They just simply gonna drop onto our target and they will just simply do damage. So he just taken another chunk of 11k. So I did like what, 30 to 40k already on him, and he still decided to stay onto that flank in a bowing situation while he knowing that I have continuously focused him hard. Again, doing a big mistake that he should not have done. I mean, if I would be in Libertad, if I know there's a Shinano that can be a very tough opponent, he should have just completely kited away from the area and have done something about it. Now, Gordon Liu does not have defensive fire, right? And the Shinano special capabilities is that you can actually able to turn your AP skip bombers like this without losing that much of an aim, which is kind of absurd, right? And I think managed to did like at least overpan and citadel damage onto that Shinano, reducing his HP even further, like at least more than 7k, which again adding to my damage number as well. Now here's the thing. I saw that the Shimakaze gets spotted by, I think, the Rhode Island's radar, and Shima is in smoke. I have the mod that can actually show me which ship is spotted right now. As you can see here, the Prince Van Orange currently is not spotted by anything. So I know that there's not that Shimakaze that has just kited out and able to spot the Prince Van Orange. So he is in fact in smoke. So again, with that said, I decided to come up again with the HE tactical dive bombers, trying to bait the defensive fire of the Gordon Liu, and still going to drop him again and again until he decides to either leave the flank or either he decides that he has to die, which unfortunately for him, he will die. But now in the case of Shinano, the way to play Shinano is going to be the sheer aggression. The power of Shinano lies on that you have the armor and you have the smokes that they have given onto the HE tactical dive bombers. Is just going to make it extremely powerful. And since I know that the Shima spotting me in a carrier, I know that either he will go to the 10 line or to the J1 line. But, well, he decided to just take a massive HE volley from that Rhode Island because he was very pissed by that Shimakaze, leading his death right now. So, I mean, that's how powerful Shinano really is. That's how powerful carriers really are. But again, you know there's a carrier, and you know that you are really badly mispositioned because there is a potential radar that can still gonna be making your life hard. You should never be there in the first place. Again, big mistake by Shimakaze to be here. He should not have done that. He should be maybe more towards G10 line, trying to drop the Annapolis and Vyazma, or maybe the test ship that I was talking about. He could have done that, but he still decided not to do that. So the Rhode Island is there, and I see there is a Gordon Liu again doing the same mistake. But, well, since I did not able to bait out the defensive fire, but I kind of realized it, that he does not want to do this again and again onto the technical HE dive bombers. But again, Shinano still has one more thing in his pocket, and that is going to be his heal. He's simply able to heal the damage that he did with the defensive fire flags. Kind of makes it even more busted. So I just managed to entirely kill that poor Gordon Liu. And it is supposed to be one of the very strongest cruiser in the game. Somehow, Han managed to take down by a carrier like Shinano, because Shinano is that good. Now, Novosibirsk also popped his defensive fire, and that's the reason why I didn't took the risk to utilize all the last squad that I have with the AP skip bombers. So instead, I only use the HE dive bombers, the tactical dive bombers, which are pretty reliable, pretty consistent, easy damage on these poor cruisers, and now I can come back to drop torpedoes on another target. Again, Notice as I am trying to push towards the decap, because I have realized that there is no one out there that can spot me, and Shinano has a 14.3 kilometer detection, and you still have smokes at your disposal, which at late game is going to be pretty powerful. Just makes the Shinano very good. But I was trying to shot the A gear, but the Rhode Island just completely depth strike him, making my drop completely unusable. That was very surprising, to be honest. But again, here comes the next tactic that I want to showcase you, that you can utilize on battleships against torpedo bombers. These torpedo bombers, you drop 3 of them. They have little to no dispersion. In fact, sometimes you get no dispersion, and you have 2 torpedoes straight up with no distance in between, which is kind of, I don't know, it's pretty mind-boggling. I just don't understand this. But with these 3 torpedoes with very little distance in between, what you can simply do is that you can just drop on bow in battleships. Try to focus on their bow with the help of these torpedo bomber. Means that if I get the flood on the Musashi, because obviously the bow and the stern does have no torpedo protection, means that you have a highest chance of getting a flood. And that's the reason why on a previous attack I managed to get a flood, and I still did the same thing with the Musashi, getting the torpedoes hit onto the bow with 3 torpedoes means that I got a guarantee flood again, killing him again, and just getting a 4th kill. And that's how Shinano is extremely powerful. Again, I know that the Minnesota has defensive air fire, and again, just like Goodaliu, he did the same mistake. Should not have tried to utilize defensive air fire onto the tactical bombers, because they are the defensive air fire gets kind of completely nullified. I mean, it can also get nullified with the help of the Shinano Shinano heals that you get also on the torpedo bombers and bombers. But I mean, you can still see that the reason why Shinano is pretty powerful is that you can always bait defensive air fire with the help of the tactical tactical dive bombers. And notice I was already talking about how good the dispersion of the torpedo is. It's kind of make them pretty undodgeable, literally undodgeable. And again, just like Aegir, someone managed to kill the Minnesota, but notice that I have racked up 207k potential damage, which kind of shows that how kind of broken carriers are right now in terms of how much spotting potential they have. And I mean, how broken the carriers in general are because of the AP skip bombers and the insanely dispersion good torpedoes and all that shenanigans. I don't know. I mean, they are still trying to balance them at some point, that spotting. But what about these AP skip bombers that you will soon find out that what I'm gonna do to this poor Annapolis. The Annapolis, well, he's supposedly having good anti-air, but again, as you can see here, if you are utilizing these skip bombers pretty well, the potential of the AP skip bombers is just stupid. I don't have any word. It's just stupid. I have racked up not only 232k damage, because someone just taken a huge damage, or at least done a huge volley with the help of the initial drop that anyone else has done. And after that I have done 22k damage, but you can see here, because of the spotting and my drop, he just completely go down to 0. And I have racked up 208k damage, and I'm in an aggressive position to just start to, get the decap, and the game is pretty much over. The maximum one is broadside right now, and you can just pre-drop, or it does not matter if you pre-drop, because you still have so many planes on deck. You also have HE dive bombers that can penetrate Maximilman's deck. So Shinano is just gonna be pretty good, right? So as you can see here, I'm gonna drop this Maximilman, trying to get a flood most likely, because again, I try my best to drop the torpedo bombers with this insane dispersion to get a flood onto the bow targets. In this case, I think maybe his DCP is running. The carrier's DCP is automatic. It might be running, and hence the reason why I didn't get the flood. But again, we managed to kill the carrier simply by the spotting. So, I mean, yeah. Is it a broken carrier? Oh, 100%. Is it the AP skip bombers and the torpedo bombers, the way they work, is something that is broken? I would say it's more than broken than spotting itself. I mean, if you started to give these sort of armaments that are just completely insane, undodgeable torpedoes, AP skip bombers, if you do a bit of a mistake by just staying pretty much straight liner, you're just gonna get completely smashed, and you're just able to rack up so much damage as well as so much credits because, well, reasons. Spotting damage does done a huge job in that to get that 3k base XP. Also, I get a sort of a solo cap, not the solo cap. The Rhode Island also have done some assistance in capture, but again, that racked up the total of 3k base XP. And obviously, if you look at the detailed report, it's going to be even more hilarious. Look at the Goodaliu. Goodaliu able to get 65k damage by skip bombers and tactical bombs. So yeah, I haven't even used torpedo bombers at all, which are, like, I would say, a lot more reliable than even AP skip bombers. Even though AP skip bombers are pretty reliable as well. Taken down Musashi and Libertad with floods. Taken down Annapolis with 4 bombs doing 22k damage. Explain the balanced wargaming. But well, that's what Shinano really is. If you find it really interesting, if you find the tactics useful, please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will love to hear your thoughts and opinions upon this, I would say, carrier, Shinano. So till then, I will catch you guys later, and I will be making more valuable videos giving you tips and tactics and maybe top 5 or tier lists that you love to see. Till then, peace out.